Well, hello everyone. Here to show you see the word crave coloring activity right here. As you see right here is I went ahead and drew right here, say a photo right here, say of an ice cream right here. And with most of us, that if we've known about what it's like, of course, with the ice cream note that talking about we say with the word crave, it's like anybody maybe think about it's like they may know what it means, but then on the other hand too, that knowing about something that look it up in a dictionary, and any kid would probably think about it. It's like that if they were to look up any word in a dictionary, like I used to do, a couple of times. It's like I will look up the word crave, of course, and so far as it basically says in a dictionary about that necessary purpose, for the needs, of course, for you say for the appetite it is, but basically that anybody probably think about is like so far as the meaning though you say with the word crave it is that talking about if it's spelled with maybe with a K or a C, but on the other hand too that with say with the word crave though it's basically means that is of course how I have it spelled is basically that so far as the needs about if you were to wake up one morning or evening it is craving for for something it is, and a lot of people probably think about craving for something, yeah, that knowing about that if you were to wake up one morning and feeling maybe a little bit if if you had a taste, I guess anybody could probably think about that if I can go ahead and draw, using a pink marker it is, you have right here is maybe a tongue. Anybody can probably think about, you say if it's all in the nerves it is. Right here is like, you have right here is like for a tongue, and you got right here is the mouth right here. But if you were to wake up one morning and then you start craving, something, such as if it's chocolate, or if it's peanut butter, or if it's caramel or something like that, a lot of times anybody probably think about that it could be a a symbol if you're sick with something, or it's like for taste, taste, smell, I guess you say I can maybe name about three, two or three different you say nerves. It's like it's always talk about in the nerves. And of course with feel though that anybody could probably think about if they're going to be smell, if you're going to be at the salad bar or something like that, maybe walking, if you were to smell something that looks that looks good and maybe tastes tastes good, you can maybe say so far as anybody could probably think about mouth watering. You say if anything's what you call considered mouth watering taste it is. And yeah, right here is you got right here is the thumb it is. But anyway, go ahead and draw the rest of the thumb. It's like anybody probably think about it. It's like it's like is it really supposed to be a thumb, or is it supposed to be any type other type? It's like type of shape it is. But anyway, go ahead and draw so the rest of the hand right here. But anyway, that right there is like what you call is the thumb. You got right here is the wrist right here, and then you got right there is the fingers it is. But anyway, by touching, if you say by touching something and then knowing about what does it mean whenever you start craving something it is. Anybody might think about whenever you crave something, apple pie between a sweet potato pie, whichever it is, that knowing about anything that more likely that you would have a strong appetite for. And a lot of ways though that like anything that maybe you would have a strong appetite, go ahead and use is like the orange marker right here, and then go ahead and color it. You got right here, go ahead and color it right here, the tongue, of course, with the pink crayon. But the word crave, and we could probably think about, we've heard it, like that if most of us are familiar with like what you call is like maybe the Dairy Queen commercials, if we've seen a few Dairy Queen commercials a lot of times, if it's talking about, it's like we see the ice cream cones, and knowing about with me though that about back whenever I was young, it's been a while since I had an ice cream cone, but the kind that you can get, that a lot of times I can remember, I think it was sherbet or something like that, the sherbet, or if it was another type of ice cream, you say ice cream sandwich, or if just ice cream cone it is basically that I can remember eating the ice cream. And then whenever the ice cream will get like what you call is like the moist, get real moist it is, and then and then you would be able to eat the ice cream cone. And like Dairy Queen was one place, of course, that I can remember going to. Going there, eating there, and then getting an ice cream cone. And a lot of times it's talk about so far as the meaning crave. And anybody maybe think about that's whenever that the just like the White Castle commercials, like on what you crave. But I really just think that the whole purpose of I guess anybody probably think about depending on that really that knowing about that if the type of food products that you would more likely be needing, and a lot of times I keep thinking, it's like I wrote on here. Basically, what it means, it's like what you're causing by your needs of knowing about that if it's healthy, of course, to crave. Stuff like it's like if it's healthy or not to want something. I guess anybody probably think about if you want to put this, put it in your own words. It's like if you want something, if you want it real bad, it is, or it's like talking about for that necessary purpose. It's like if it's say for necessarily purpose, and anyway, that talking about right here is like so far is crave. It's like and so far is talking about for required. It's like so far with needs. It's like for required. It is. But knowing about that whenever you wake up at some time and then find out then you may start craving maybe caramel, or you start maybe craving nacho, chips or anything like that, And what does the word crave pretty much mean? Saying my words is knowing about that something that in particular, of course, that I guess that your I guess if it's if it's your system, it's like so far as if it's in your nervous system that something that your body needs, of course. That more likely would be it's like in that food product it is, or it could be on the other hand too that knowing about something that's sweet. And anybody can maybe think about that with the word crave is like knowing about that if you were to wake up one morning and you were craving chocolate covered apple, chocolate covered, maybe if it was waffles or pancakes, blueberry pancakes. And anybody think for breakfast, that if you were to have blueberry pancakes, it was, and then knowing about that that you didn't just pick it out because of the fact because it was in your cabinets or something like that. It was because that for whatever reason, I guess it was inside the taste. It's like you say anybody can maybe think about with so far as with for thirsty, it's like talk about with you say for the thirsty. And talk about it's like thirsty. It's like I'm like anyway, to try and get the spell. But anyway, for thirsty, and then of course mouth watering. For mouth watering, say appetite. It is. I guess a lot of it may have to do with the appetite. But other than that, like talking about, it's like anybody probably think about, if he can't read that, then more likely I'm like, I don't even think I have it spelled right. But anyway, that they have right here is like so far with thirsty it is. With an E, or you put an E in there somewhere. But anyway, but with thirsty though, in between thirsty and of course mouth watering, appetite it is basically that if anybody were probably think about that, they wake up one morning and then they start craving chocolates for whatever reason, that they start to get an appetite to where they need to have they need to have a certain type of chocolate, Hershey's chocolate or anything like that, or if it's like anything related to an ice cream, it is. And is it it more likely any doctor could probably think about it. It's like if that's normal, maybe to be craving something at a certain time of the day, such as a breakfast product that I used to think that if I were to wake up one morning, and anybody would probably think about that they drink, they would crave iced tea. If they wanted to, if they were craving some iced tea, or if they woke up one morning and find out that they were craving what you call sugar, your chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream or anything like that. I like anybody probably think about anything with a little bit of sugar in it. And I'm sure that anybody who has like what you call like a type of diabetes or anything like that, more likely that with like anything with sugar and maybe some sodium, and knowing about it's like say for some sodium, or if it's like anything related to like the nutritious facts it is of knowing about it's like the things of course that are in as something that more likely that their body needs, of course, because maybe the fact about that something that they're low on, something like that. But I don't know, anybody could probably think about like that other than craving it. It's like if you were allergic to it, it's like if you were allergic to it, then maybe you would be able to know. But if like so far with craving, so that anybody maybe think about if they wake up one morning and that for whatever reason that they were craving cold waffles, that chocolate Pop-Tarts. Anybody, if anybody were to go into the refrigerator and then maybe drink, you say drink. Usually that you may eat it hot a lot of times. If it's tacos, anybody probably think about. I don't know if anybody here has ever eaten cold tacos, or you say the any type of cold pizza or a cold lasagna, but. Anybody maybe think about it, if they crave a lasagna, they're more likely that they may go into the refrigerator. I'll go ahead and maybe draw like here as an example right here of a refrigerator, and you go in there and then maybe start eating up any leftover lasagna or whatever you call it, leftover lasagna, and let's just say that so far as the needs real bad, it's like you go into the refrigerator and then you see that there's some leftover lasagna, but then of course it's like that you may start munching on it and knowing about that you usually heat it up. You usually heat it up before you eat it like that. It's like it's like other than with like any type of sugary products, it's like you usually heat it up before you eat it. But that what does that usually mean though? Whenever you crave things, maybe at nighttime or if it's during the day, a lot of times what does that mean? And more likely, it's possible that that could be a symptom of like what you call, anybody maybe think about maybe some low blood sugar, or if it's anything related to that your body is asking for something. I guess a lot of times that really means that your immune system or something like that, your nervous system is asking you for something, and then so far as for taste, smell, and and feel, and I can go ahead and also include like here, because I'm sure with anybody, whenever they start craving for something, if it's going to be like what you call like for spaghetti and meatballs, anybody maybe think about if they wake up one morning and then they were craving, had some type of craving, of course for spaghetti it is, for spaghetti and meatballs or rice-a-roni or anything like that, of knowing about that hey, I'm like that, and then with the rice-a-roni that it was in the refrigerator, and then they just start eating it. It's like, well, that ain't too healthy, Ann. Like that ain't too healthy. You're supposed to cook it first. But on the other hand, a lot of times we think about what does that mean whenever you get into that taste to where maybe the nerves, of course, that the nerve cells inside your body is knowing about whenever you start craving something at a certain time. It is such as say maybe if it's maybe Doritos, or if it's like what you call like a cold chili. I don't know if anybody has ever eaten cold chili, but I know I haven't. But that it's like anything that more likely you'll crave it. No matter if it's hot or cold, that depend on how it's served it is. And anybody would probably think about that they may not eat it. They may not eat it. If it's not served right. But on the other hand too, but with like So, say for instance, like with an ice cream cone, it is that it may have to be served right before you can enjoy it. But I can, that reminds me of one of those other commercials about barbecue sauce. I'm sure anybody here has seen a number of commercials about barbecue sauce. It's not the same without the sauce. But talk about, it's like try to feed the lion, pork steaks it is, and it's like, well, you try to feed the dog, maybe Dairy Queen, bacon strip, chicken strips or anything like that, knowing about that, that they want they want sauce included. So it's like they want the sauce before they'll eat it. And knowing about with the sauce that anybody maybe think about that it may not be the same with that sauce, but on the other hand too, to knowing about is like, I guess really about whenever you start craving something, whenever you start really wanting it real bad. Basically, I guess the whole definition of talking about is like that. Yeah, that more likely that I guess the body's saying that more likely that it could be maybe a symptom for like what you call maybe an infection. You say some type of virus, of course, that's in your system, and more likely your body needs something inside your system. And for whatever virus, of course, it's fighting it. It's such as that there's a virus that with most medical doctors would probably say that if it's like what you call it's like for strep throat, or if it's for like any type of laryngitis or anything like that, bronchitis, that if you start craving what you call maybe lemonade or anything like that, any type of a product that had maybe has a little bit of sugar in it, and with anybody we're probably think about that that yeah, if you're going to be down maybe with the cold or a flu, and then you may not be craving anything. That you probably think about that with your sinus buildup, that things may just say taste just like cardboard. But on your hand too, to talk about is like the number of calculations, like talking about like the number of things. Of course, we maybe would crave maybe during the day, if we can maybe think about maybe 5 things or something like that. You say for 5 times 2 is like you multiply, it's like, and then time equals it's like pushing all button here, and it's like for 15 it is for 15 it's like talking about, it's like about how many products that you have during the day. It's like how often do you exercise. But knowing about anybody maybe think about that maybe that they would crave like what you call like maybe chocolate chip or peanut butter cookies or anything like that. But I know whenever I'm stressed out about something, here lately, I know a lot of times that every once in a while I start craving peanut butter products. And I can tell anybody here that with these peanut butter products, it's like if it's what you call peanut butter M&Ms, or if it's maybe peanut butter cookies or maybe peanut butter sandwiches, that every once in a while I start maybe craving peanut butter products. And then with some people that they may say that they may start craving maybe strawberry, vanilla or strawberry shortcake, maybe strawberry Coke or anything like that. They may start craving soda, it is. And basically anybody who probably think about it so far as the word is say in the dictionary about, it's like so far as knowing about for the serving that comes first. Serving that comes first. What does this mean, really? Serving that comes first. And anybody maybe think about between A, B, and C of knowing about serving that comes first. It's like, does it mean ASAP, as soon as possible, or does it mean something like in 10 minutes? In 10 minutes, I want my food on the table, whichever it is. Or does it mean a fact about maybe none of the above? Anybody maybe think about it? It's like maybe none of the above. And then of course with C that it could maybe stand for serving that comes first, of knowing about that in I would say in 5 minutes or less. If you were to order something maybe off the menu, it is 5 minutes or less. Serving that comes first. And anybody probably think about it, it's like for how many tickets, of course, they're on for like cook's job it is, like so far as the number of tickets, of course, for their order it is, if they want a soft drink or anything like that. And anybody who maybe think about, you walk into a restaurant and then the next thing you know, it's like if they talk to you about about how they want their eggs, and they may say something about if a waiter or waitress were to take their order, and then next thing you know, they say that no pickles, no relish, no onions. A lot of times that they that there may be some customers in there that may say extra cheese, extra pickles. And then, of course, with extra, salad dressing, it is that they were ordering maybe a salad. It is, and extra hot fudge. You say with their dessert. It's like they talk about with ice creams. It is, but I don't know if I'm making anybody hungry. But anyway, if it's like talking about with, you say with onion rings or anything like that, anybody maybe think about if they were to come up to that time to where if they were to start craving, have a craving for like what you call like for onion rings, but. Anyway, but it's like that. Like, what does that a lot of times mean whenever you start craving for something? If it's like what you call like type of ice cream cone, maybe from Dairy Queen, and anybody probably think about it is like the type of flavors. Of course, it's like talking about it's like between the Reese's or you say for the caramel, the Carpal Whoppin', the Carpal Woms, or anything like that. Type flavoring it is. The Reese's. Shakes, milkshake or anything like that, and anybody maybe think about like that, a lot of ice cream places, chocolate chip cookie dough, whichever it is. But a lot of ways anybody probably think about if you were to start have a craving for like what you call for raw cookie dough, it is, and think about like that will really make you sick. I'm like, well. Then how do you explain about the fact about cookie dough ice cream? Because I know that more likely I've tasted before, knowing about that they put it in ice cream too. That with raw cookie dough that I know if it's not baked, because it don't even taste. There are some chocolate chip cookie dough ice creams. Of course I have eaten, and of course a lot of times it seems like it's raw. But I guess they say that not all raw cookie dough I guess will make you sick. It's like I guess just the amount of cookie dough that you have, and with anybody will probably think about anything that of course that they say that needs to be baked before it could be served. It is like with raw cookie dough, raw meat. I don't know, anybody probably think about like that with raw meat that could say with salmonella poisoning, you can get poisoned if you eat. Don't eat that. It could get poisoned. But other than that, like talking about is that. I don't know if anybody has ever craved, for maybe, raw hamburger meat, or if it's raw hot dogs or raw ham. But on the other hand, too, anything maybe out of the refrigerator. Anybody probably think anything out of the refrigerator or the freezer it is. Go ahead and write in here for freezer. It's like, talk about right here, for freezer it is. Anything out of refrigerator. Refrige. Anything out of the refrigerator that knowing about that for whatever reason it's like that those ice cream sandwiches I bought the other day, it's like, hey, I'm like, I don't know about you, but if you remember that I usually eat them warm. I usually heat them up a little bit before I eat them, right? Well, for whatever reason, that whenever I went into the freezer, that I just start chowing down on them. What is that? What does that mean? Well, more likely that knowing about that, you're pretty much, it's basically, I guess it's all about in the muscles. I guess anybody probably thinking about with the muscles, that the way your muscles work, it is like with your muscles that I can go ahead and maybe draw an example right here. Maybe the muscles, of course, inside your arms, the way that they work, it is. But knowing about that whenever your body needs something, then of course it would pass the message off, of course, to the hip bone and then the crane bone, or so. But it would pass the message off to like what you call a certain part of your body. It is, and then knowing about if you were to wake up one morning, maybe craving sausages, or if it's craving any type of bacon. Anybody probably think about if it's raw if it's going to be bacon or anything like that, or maybe fried eggs and ham, or if it's going to be maybe crescent rolls or anything like that. That more likely that any type, maybe a few sugar products. That more likely, I guess that means that that's what your body, that inside your nervous system, about your nerve cells, of course, for what you taste, smell, and of course hear and feel. It is about, it's like you, so far as in the nervous system, and about basically about for what your body needs. Of course, it's try to get your attention about that. If you start craving something, then knowing about it could be that the symptom of maybe you come down with something, or if it's maybe about that you should have eaten something that you should have eaten about maybe a couple of hours ago, whichever it is. But on your hand, to knowing about if the symptoms do come down to where that if you start to having like what you call like any type of vomiting or any type of nausea or any type of fever or anything like that, the more like they say it's they recommend go see it, to get the contact, and you say that the pharmacist, doctor it is. But other than that, let's talk about, say, what the word crave is. Talk about, say, what the craving activity is, like talking about, say, the word crave coloring.